We are back, and I am today with Laura Geller, founder of my most favorite makeup brand, Laura Geller. And we're here to talk all about love, dating, relationships. She is 66 years young. She built an incredible line. If you haven't seen her makeup brand, you have to Google it and check it out. And in addition, she has a son, which she had on her own.
That's right.
And love, nobody ages out of love. And everybody is still looking for it. So I want to dig in and I want to talk about it. And I love you.
I love you too.
And I love that you make me look so good.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's easy for you.
I'm
you
telling
have to have the canvas, and then I just do the enhancement.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
But like, really, you make me shine and pop. I love it. It looks great in
you.
all of my photos.
Oh, that makes me so happy. And every time somebody stops me and says, "Oh, I know your line," or "You make my life, my routine easier," it just warms my heart.
Oh, it's easy. And I'm not, you're the makeup human, so you can teach all about those things. I literally take the brush. I'm like, bronzer, blush, eyeshadow, lipstick, go.
Well,
I'm
that's
done.
because it's easy, because you look good to begin with.
Okay, it's very
Trust
kind.
me, it's not that easy
I feel like
for
I'm makeup,
everyone.
I think I'm like makeup lazy.
I'm the lazy girl guide to makeup. That's why
You
products
invented
perform.
this.
That's right.
It's the best. Anyway, we're not here to totally talk about products. We're here to totally talk about
Yes,
you.
thank you.
And I don't know, but you just told me you have some sort of a surprise update, which I don't even know about.
It's not a surprise. It's an update.
An update.
It's not, because nothing has happened.
Okay.
But I think we talked at dinner once, and I told you that I needed to dip my toe on my own. Mm-hmm. So I did. I went onto a dating site.
You weren't on dating sites.
No, I have
this is
never
news.
done a dating site
Right,
in
because
my life.
you're popular. You're a brand.
Well,
Like,
but people wouldn't
you.
know who I was. Although one person did. He said, "I love your commercials. You're very genuine in your commercials."
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't put any information. I didn't put my last name.
But he saw your face.
But
knew
he
your
must
face.
have known from my face.
Okay.
But he was disinterested, obviously. But I said, let me just see what this is like. Like, I know I heard from friends, but I had to just try it for myself. And I'm over it. Like,
That's not the.
let me ask you a
that's not
question.
What I was thinking.
Let me ask you a question. Why didn't anybody warn me and say that you start talking to somebody? Now, my son, who's 24, met his lovely girlfriend 2 years ago on a dating site.
Okay.
And so he had valuable information. He said, stop talking back and forth. Get on to the date. Get on, you don't.
Oh, does he want to coach for me?
I want to tell you.
He's got some good advice
He's
at
got
24.
great advice. He said, stop talking to this man back and forth. So I was talking to this man back and forth, and I finally said, I think we should get on a call and stop, this back and forth. And he said, okay, give me your number. And so I gave him my number. And when he called, I heard his voice, and I said, this voice does not match his profile. He said he was from Jerusalem originally. Mm-hmm. He did not have an Israeli accent.
Maybe he's an import. We've got lots of imports in Israel. Okay, keep going.
Listen, I'm 66.
Yeah.
I'm not 25. So I said, oh, you don't sound like the person I've been talking to. And then he's got a little quiet, and he said, well, I said, you don't sound like you're from Jerusalem. He said, well, I told you I'm from Oslo, Norway. I said, well, first of all, you never told me that. But second of all, you didn't tell me that you were from, well, first you
Are there any
follow
Jews
along.
there?
Right. So long story short, I said, I find this very interesting. And he said, I have to go do some paperwork. Can I get back to you later? So he texted me back later and said, can you talk? And I didn't respond. So I decided I'm done. Mm-hmm. He's a fake, phony, and fraud. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, the next day, the dating site sent me an email saying that he's been removed from the dating site for suspicious behavior. And I thought, I didn't report him. I don't have his number. I wouldn't have had to report him. I did this 2 weeks ago. And so I thought, I don't like this. This is not for me. It's not for me. I know you must be.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
You're...
I can
Okay,
only
wait,
imagine what you're thinking.
You gave him your number, so you need to go on your phone and block his number now.
Oh, right.
Okay, I'll show you how to do
Oh, my son did it. He did it.
He took care of it. Okay, good. You got
Did
a
it.
24-year-old.
Did it.
So we need to block his number. That's first of all. If you get any weird numbers or anything weird, just keep blocking. But eventually it'll fade because they get bored. It doesn't. It's nothing. He knows there's nothing there.
And I didn't know that people can put your phone number in a specific site and get information on you. Like Daniel showed me, there was no information on him. Because I had his number once he called me. Zero information. But when you put in my number, it gives you the address. It gives you my relatives, where I lived
it shows
before.
you all the. Yeah.
I don't want to give out my number again. I wouldn't want to do that.
We have to get you like a Google Voice number, like a made-up number that can forward to your real number.
Oh, that's valuable.
Yeah, and then when you call out, you have to call out with that number and only give them that number to call in. We'll hook you up.
Okay.
Tell Daniel. He and
Daniel only wants me to be with you. I just want you to know that. That's all he ever talks about. He's like, you know you can do it, and I don't know what you're stopping yourself from. And I'm like, well, because I just needed to see what the world of dating sites was like for my own edification. But now there was another guy. So I saw his picture. I have no right to say, but I said, oh, he's not my type.
Okay.
And then my son said, oh, stop. You don't have a right to say that.
You do, but okay, go ahead.
So then I said, okay, fair. He sounds interesting. He liked me. He wrote something. I said, I have a good sense of humor. And he goes, I love a good sense of humor. Anyway, wrote him back, never heard from him. Then he popped up a week later and said, I'm sorry, I haven't been in touch. I had laryngitis. I'm not talking on the phone with you. Can you explain that one?
You had typitis?
Typitis. I'm like,
Carpal tunnel?
I said, you take care of you, darling. You take care of you. Is that what it is on a dating site?
So
Come on.
Yes, and many matches are made on sites. Your son is an example that it's made on a site. Older and younger makes no difference. However, on a site, just like in life also, the expectation, or at least mine is, if we had 100 guys lined up, we're going to make up a story. I would expect that 90 might be experiences like that or somewhere in between. And I would expect 10 to be like, maybe. And out of those 10, I'd expect 2 to be like, ooh. And then I'm just praying that you like them as much as they like you and that we can make them match.
Right.
But really, you are getting a taste of matchmaking.
I know.
And it is difficult. We try to filter through these things. So the ones that are like scams or bots or people with fake accounts, we do our best to filter through those. The ones that don't appear as who they are or they put on a fake persona, that's a whole different thing. And then the ones that are like unresponsive, weird, they make up stories and all sorts of things like, but I can't say that even working with a matchmaker will prevent that from happening because I've been ghosted before.
Wow.
I've been ghosted, but we are the first line of defense.
That's true.
So if they get through us, if we go on we date them first. We go on a first date with them. Do they call us back? Do they text us back? Are they responsive? We already see a pattern of...
You're vetting them out.
We're vetting them. And we already see what's happening. And then from that, we say, great, we think we could, set up a date. Great. If they don't end up showing up, if they do show up, if they are a great dater, if they're a terrible dater, right? And then we get feedback and we learn so much more.
Wow.
But it is a whole process. But we do cut out that first initial... I'll call it ick.
In your first line of defense when you're vetting them, do you do a criminal background check?
We do those.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Right. So though, I mean, listen, not
that's valuable.
And not everything can be caught, but because we have had stories. I was working with a matchmaker friend, and she made a match, and he had a record. It was something. It wasn't crazy, but it wasn't nothing. And she said, and I said to her, he has a record. She said, yes, he'll share that with the date in the right time, whatever the story is. And it ended up being this amazing match.
Oh.
And they did end up getting married, but the family was shocked. Like, why would a matchmaker set somebody up like that who had a story, had a record, da-da-da? And it, for the right person, like everybody has their pluses and minuses. So that was something that she could handle, whether she liked it or not.
Right.
She obviously didn't like it, but it wasn't a total deal breaker. So those things can happen, but you have to have an awareness. There's like a record. And then there's a record, right?
There's a big difference.
The difference between like a white collar crime or like murder. Right? There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And you don't really want either.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's different things that happen in life and different stories. And I mean, we've seen and heard so many. Look, our goal as matchmakers is instead of getting the ick to get somewhere in the middle range, right? Like I like to think of it like a target, right? Like a bullseye, okay? Everybody wants a bullseye. And they're like, oh, Aliza, you're the Jewish matchmaker.
Yeah.
You should be able to hit the bullseye every time. And I was like, yes, I'm not psychic and I'm not God.
Yeah.
So I can't.
And in your show, you don't hit it every time.
No.
But
you want it to hit on the target. Like, I want it to hit on the target. I know why you set this match up. thank you. It makes sense because of those things. It didn't work because of those things, but I know why this makes sense. And it was a good try. It got on the target. Sometimes it's a little closer. Sometimes it's a little further.
Right.
What we're trying to do is not to like throw it and like totally miss or like,
Right.
bounce on the floor.
I don't want to act like I'm interviewing you. How long are you doing matchmaking?
I started in 2007.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it's been over 16 years.
And so can you tell me, I'm curious, I'm asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. She asked me to ask you. So would you know how many marriages you've made?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Like
but
in the area
I say that I've helped over 200 people to get to the chuppah.
Wow.
Some of them I have literally made the match. Some of them people come to me for other coaching and other support, and then they give me like a lineup of people, and I pull them out of their little black book, so to speak, or pull them out of that line. Some people call me, they're in a relationship, they're about to break up, and then we have a conversation, and if it's right to break up, they do, and if it's not, they get married. And they're like, but I wouldn't have gotten married. Like, you saved it. It was like you made that match because but for the fact that we were walking out the door and breaking up,
unbelievable.
You showed us why not to and why and how this could work. So there's different definitions. If you're talking about strictly setting somebody up or putting people together, I say it like this. People who hang around with me tend to find their partner and get married. That's it. Because I'm marriage-minded. The people I hang out with are marriage-minded. And people want to build a long-term loving relationship. This is why it's Find Me a Love That Lasts. That's the subtitle of the book. It's a love that lasts. It's not just a love.
I cannot wait to get my hands on that book. By the way, I watch your videos, and the information you give is so incredibly important, especially to someone like me who's I haven't dated, 24 years.
Well, you just did online, so.
But I mean, I haven't been on a
been
date in 24 years. Do you know how valuable it is to see when you say that, like, when you go on a dating site, the prompts you should be asking, how you're supposed to evoke information from people. Like, I would have never known that. I would never have thought about that.
Right.
And so everything you give, and is it all in there?
Well,
please tell me.
Yeah. You get it through stories, which I love. So you're going to read about all my client stories. We make up names to change, change the names of the innocent. Yeah. But we change people's names, but you hear the stories and you see my working and coaching with them through the relationship and how either it turns out to work out or for the reasons that it doesn't work out, why it could never work out. But it gives you a vision. And there's also in the back, I always give like a homework and action plan where you're not just reading something, you're like, oh, that's a nice read. You at the end, you're like, and this is actionable in my life, and here's what I can do.
Okay. And do you speak to women of my age?
This is universal. So for me, when I write, it is for all ages and all backgrounds and all different locations. This is, I like to say, Jewish wisdom for the world.
Okay.
So it's got all the dating wisdom, and it's applicable for all different ages.
That's amazing.
So I try to share things that really are wide-reaching, and they can be applied in different ways. Like, of course, date them till you hate them, which means I like people going out on a second date unless it's a hard no and a deal breaker.
I know.
I'm okay with ending it for a great reason.
Yeah.
But let it be a great reason.
Yes, 100. I would agree with that.
And also, like makeup, it's got to like set in a little.
Yes.
And let the date set in a little.
It gets better with time, I always say.
Oh,
it
yours does.
It definitely does.
I mean, like the glow. I'm telling you, I walk around and I'm like, I look good today.
The best was when I introduced myself to you and you already knew who I was, and I was just so honored and humbled.
I was
by
so
that.
surprised. I was like, that's who's calling me.
I
just bought her makeup.
Shocked and surprised, and I still am after all these years of doing what I do. It's always a shocker for me, but I'm going to get my hands on that. Are you going to do an audiobook? Because I do like an audiobook.
Yes, and it's supposed to be my voice.
Oh,
so
I hope it is.
Like be me.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I was addicted to your show. We need to have that show again.
I know. Can we? We need Jewish matchmaking season 2.
Why wouldn't it have happened? It's a no-brainer.
The world's complicated, and the Jewish world is a little extra complicated.
So what? We need that even more so right now.
Also, I agree.
Right now, more than ever, we need that.
It's so true.
Oh my gosh!
It's
Are you kidding?
True.
I have to tell you, with what's going on in our world today, I always felt like I'm not religious, but I didn't have that close connection the way I have since October 7th. And I feel so part of something so important in my life now, and my son feels the same way. And I have to be honest with you, when I went on the dating site, I crossed Jewish, and then I crossed I don't remember what I said, not religious or something. I don't remember what I crossed off. And then I went back and changed it to just Jewish. I know how important it is for me to feel that comfort. And, my life has changed in the last year and a half. It really has. And, I think we have to come together for so many reasons to have family and, bring out. I mean, that's why I'm so glad my son is dating a lovely Jewish woman. And
that's the best.
Makes me so happy. Like, come on. I mean, I went out to dinner with her and like she says things like, I got a Greps. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a little, it's those little things. Like I went out the other night with a friend who's not Jewish and he said, excuse me. And I was like, go ahead, you could Greps. He goes, what? I said, Greps. I was teaching him words all night. He was like, thank you for that.
A little Yiddish, a little Hebrew, a little Jewish humor.
A little bit of everything.
I love it.
Anyway, I'm glad you're going to do an audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to be your voice.
It does. It does. And it also resonates. I think people also, they say to me, when you say it, I believe it and I know it. And I hear it,
You're
and
passionate.
It feels so real. And I am.
You're so passionate.
I'm deeply passionate
Of
about it.
course. If I feel it. The minute I met you, I felt it.
This is the only thing I want to do in life. There's nothing to me that's more important than bringing couples together. For me, a couple is the foundation of a community. And the community is the foundation of lighting up the world. So at the root of it is bringing these couples together, bringing these people together to build their lives together.
Do non-Jewish people come to you? No.
The show reached probably more non-Jewish people than Jewish singles because, there's more non-Jews in the world.
Right.
We're only 15
that's right.
million. So people do come to us. We don't have a strong enough network to match them, but we have a strong enough network of matchmakers that we do a good job matching them with the appropriate matchmaker.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Too.
So when they come to us, we're like, great, tell us who you are. What are you looking for? And how can we make a match? I can't find your person, but I could find you somebody who could find your person.
That's terrific. That really is. That's so
And
great.
coaching. Coaching is universal. We could really help anybody
I didn't
with
understand
it.
the coaching part. Like, I was a little bit like when you said to me, like, maybe you need a dating coach. I was a little bit like, what do you mean I need a dating coach?
What's wrong with me?
Just because I haven't dated in 24 years? Why? Has it changed that much? I need a dating and I said to my son, Aliza wants me to work with a dating coach. He goes, you need to. I go, what do you know? I said, I'm very friendly and very outgoing. Why do I need a dating coach? He goes, because what you do in business is not what you're going to do on a date.
And that's the problem. We got so good at business. We got so good at our professional lives. All of us. You're not alone in this. This is very modern world, 2024, 2025. Like, we are so good in business. And we treat dating the same way. Like, I know or I don't know. Next deal, next person, next. And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to go back to the makeup. It's got to marinate a little. It's got to sit there. It's got to, and it should shine more over time. And also, our true selves and our best selves usually don't show up on a first date. It could be rare that they do. Yeah. But your best self, if that's not showing up, imagine that's not their best self either.
Wow, yeah.
And then how do we allow both of ourselves to shine? And then where is that synergy?
And Daniel said it shouldn't be coffee. Why did he say that? What does he know, that little Vance?
I don't know, but can you have him call me? I'm giving him a job.
I want to ask this guy, like, maybe we should go get a cup of coffee. He goes, you don't ask for coffee. He said a drink, but I don't know. I didn't ask for anything, by the way.
Right. It's nice to go out to a place with atmosphere. So a drink over coffee. A coffee shop could also have atmosphere, but we want a little bit of a vibe because in the beginning, we need the atmosphere to help nurture the relationship because there is no relationship.
Right.
There's nothing holding you
good
together.
Point. Very good point. You need the ambiance a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can bring out the true self, which is also very hidden in the first, second, third date often.
Yeah. I was getting nervous when I was looking at some of the profiles from the guys saying that they like touchy, they like affectionate, I was like intimacy. I was like, can we just wait a minute?
Oh, I'm all for waiting a minute. I got the 5-date challenge. We're all about waiting a minute.
I was Xing those people because I was like, okay, I get it. We all want human touch. But
you do want somebody who has the ability to be affectionate.
Yeah, of course. But it was more than that. They were saying, what's important in my life. And they were writing, it has to be like certain things.
That's love language. You know about the 5 love languages? So physical touch is one of them. And so when that's very strong, that's what somebody will identify.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily a red flag.
All right.
He is right. You do need a dating coach. coach. I love you.
Excuse me.
But
Okay.
but we all do. Think
No,
about
I'll
it.
never
Like,
stop learning.
right?
I never
Also,
stop
like
learning.
if I wanted to get healthy, I'd get a health coach or a nutritionist. If I
Yeah.
wanted to get fit, I'd get a fitness coach. Like in every area of our life, we would
Yes, you're
choose.
right.
And I really call it mentorship. My business, the legal name of it is Marriage Minded Mentor.
Yeah.
Because it's about mentorship, and the mentorship should be
I
there
like
to
that.
build the relationship.
I like mentorship better
Okay.
than a dating coach.
You don't need a coach. You just need a mentor.
Mentor. Yeah, I
A
like
mentor.
that. I love that.
It's so respectable.
So respectful to me. I love that. You don't need a dating coach. You just need a mentor.
Yes.
Feels a little softer.
That's it.
I like
A
it.
mentor and a matchmaker.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm rebranding everybody. We
Yeah.
don't do coaching. We do mentorship.
Yeah. But we do
Mentorship and
coaching for a little
matchmaking.
extra. We could do a little coaching.
It's the same thing. It's just like you said, how the word hits you. And so this is also about a relationship, right? We're talking about something, we're communicating. On a date, you're doing the same thing. One word can trigger somebody, that's it, the date's over. Right? And same thing, right?
Yeah.
We're building even a business relationship. One
Yeah.
word can trigger something and it's over.
Yeah.
But mentorship, it like lights up the world.
It does.
connects and you feel like, oh, mentorship. Of course I want mentorship.
Yeah.
Mentorship
And then,
and
like,
matchmaking.
Oh my God, I'm not going to talk anymore. I didn't come here to ask you 5 million questions, so I'm going to let you do the rest of it because I have, after doing it for just a couple of weeks, I was like, oh, should I be saying that, showing that picture? You know.
So that's a whole nother thing, what photos to use online. And you already have a million photos, so we would have to go through them to see what makes you shine and pop and also what we know grabs people's attention as an initial profile photo.
Right. And I wanted to show like that I wasn't a skinny mini. Like I did a full length picture. And I felt, and I want to show it to you after, but
Yeah.
I said to my son, is this a real depiction of what I look like? He goes, I think so.
Okay, but I don't want a real depiction.
Oh, ew.
I know, I'm okay with real, but I want a real, but the best real.
Oh, that's what I did. I did
You think
it from
it's
a
the
photo
best
shoot.
real photo?
It was from all
Okay.
of my pictures mostly were from photo shoots, with
Right.
the exception of like 2.
Okay, good.
But
Great.
I think so. I don't know. Like, listen, they're not coming after me. I'm just gonna say, and maybe it's because I'm not a skinny mini.
No, dating is what dating is. If they were coming after you, we would still have the same percentages of people that like are so wrong, and you're just having to filter out more people. But we do have to have the right photo, the right image, the right wording, the right language,
Yeah.
like the alluring, draw them in kind of thing. And this is for men and women. This isn't for women alone, and this isn't age dependent. This is literally everybody who needs to have like. You're putting the right face forward. You're putting the right foot forward. You're
Yeah.
putting the right language forward. We're trying to draw somebody in. And again, even if there's one something that is there that's like an ick, they won't even say yes. So we have to like nail it and get everything right.
Wow.
And it takes a lot of work and a lot of filtering and the swiping and the searching and the database. I know.
I don't have time either.
Right. So are you still on? Is your information
Well, it's
still
there.
up?
It's there.
Okay.
And I wrote back to the guy with laryngitis, and he still hasn't written me back.
Your response was laryngitis question mark?
No, I wrote back. You take care of yourself. We'll speak soon. And that's all I wrote. But like, you know, it says his turn. I'm like,
Right.
okay. So,
Right, you're waiting for him to speak up.
so yeah, I mean, and I wasn't going to even respond to him when he came to me. But then I thought, my son said, maybe he's dating someone and he's waiting to see how it pans out.
Your son is very good.
Oh, he's so
Everything
good.
that you're telling me is what I would have told
Elisa,
you.
he's in love with you, my son. Like
We have to meet.
from this past summer, he was so behind me getting together with you. He really is very fond of you.
But he is giving you excellent advice.
I believe so.
Normally, most people tell me stories of what their friends and family members have said and how they advise them and what to do. And I say, listen, we have to choose the right people of who. I almost hands down give you 100% approval. If he says it, you should follow it.
Well.
Because so far, every story you've told me,
Thank you.
he's spot on with
Yeah.
the advice. And he's accurate. And that happens so often that somebody's dating somebody else. They give you a different reason, which is nice because, I'll tell you why, he doesn't want to date 2 people at once. So this isn't actually if that's the true story, this isn't a red flag, that's actually a green flag.
I like that. And so there's always a story, let's face it. I mean,
Correct.
you know, you just have to be patient. Where am I going? So I'm in no hurry. And I do it, you know, for kicks and giggles when I have the time. And, you know, it's all in one site. I just don't have the time to manage more than that. I
Correct.
mean, so I'm not even going to do more than that. But
Daniel should be managing it for you. Can I
Yeah.
talk to him? I'm going to have him manage it for you.
I don't know if he wants to take that on. Oh my gosh.
He would be very good. He would know
be.
what to say.
He really would be very good.
Yeah.
I know.
And he knows what you want and he knows what he wants for you.
Yes.
Which I assume the two of you, most people aren't in complete alignment.
Yeah.
But I assume the two of you would be.
Oh, we are so. I mean, listen,
Right.
we're just
You have a
he and
beautiful
I. We have a
relationship.
wonderful relationship, and he wants me to find the happiness, that I deserve, and he knows how much I gave up for my career and for raising him and taking care of family, and so he said, "It's your turn," and he was so cute. I told you what he said. He wants to see me walk down that aisle. He said, "You deserve to walk down that aisle and have everybody in that room." Applauding and feeling what they feel for so many other people. For me, it's always been doing it for other people. Do you know how many weddings I've done, makeup for weddings? I mean, more than I can count.
Right.
And it was always made sense for me that they were getting married. But
Right.
it didn't make sense for me,
Can
although
you
I
see
wanted
that
it.
vision now?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I do.
I think that's a piece of it. I think
I'm not
you
sure of
first
the
have to
marriage
see it.
part. I'm sure of the connection part, and then I want to see. It's baby steps for me,
Okay, so I think I told this to you, but if I didn't,
I think you
this is
did
for
tell me.
this is for everybody.
Everybody needs to hear this.
Everybody needs to know. And at second marriages, later in life marriages, people have a lot of hang-ups about marriage, and they get a little bit nervous and anxious. And I said, listen, we can do a chuppah, we can do a Jewish marriage with the rabbi, so don't file with your state. So just have your Jewish marriage. And the other piece of it, if it gives you anxiety and you can't deal with it, fine. But at least put that in place, and that opens up the spiritual blessings
Yeah.
to flow down to you.
I like it when you told me
And
that.
it's a creative solution to the problem that everybody has with second marriages
Yeah.
or beyond,
Yeah,
or first
yeah, yeah,
marriages
yeah,
or
yeah.
late in life marriages.
Absolutely. That was
I care about that more than anything. I care about
I
the
know.
spiritual marriage, that the union of two people. It's bringing two souls together, or it's one. Jewish math is this: 1 + 1 = 1. 1 + 1 = 1, right? Some people think 1 + 1 is like 10, 100, a million, like, wow, we're so multiplied
Yeah,
together.
it's 1.
And some people think 1 + 1 is 2. We're
No,
still 2.
it's
Or it's
1.
1.
I get it.
1 + 1 is 1.
Yeah, I
That's
love
Jewish
that
math.
so much. I love that. That's so eye-opening, actually. It really is. It's
So
one.
that's why it has to be, we need to have the Jewish marriage. Everything else, fine. You want to
Yeah,
do it,
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to do it, fine. And you should still have all the legal things, by the way, second time around or first time later on around, or whatever the story is. You should have all the legal things in place, if you want. What's mine is mine, goes to my kids. What's yours is yours, goes to your kids. We figure out how to share what's in the middle and make it work. But I believe in a couple building a life together
Yeah.
and figuring out what
I
that
understand that, of
means
course.
when we're 50 plus and beyond.
It makes sense to me. I mean, to have that commitment to me is ideal. I mean, that's what you want.
And that's what it is. It is the commitment.
It's a commitment.
And it's a commitment to you, it's a commitment to them, and it's a commitment to the
Yeah.
relationship, that thing that's actually binding you together, that's between you.
100%. It's so funny how life changes at different stages for people. If you would have talked to me when I was 50, I wasn't ready. I was so busy building the business and running and going and doing. And now my son's leaving the nest and he's ready to get involved and settle down. And, all of a sudden I looked around and I was like, my friend said this way, I'm not lonely. Wait a minute. He said, I'm not lonely, I'm alone. Or did he say, no, he was trying to say he has so much in his life, friends and everything, but he's lonely still. He worded it much better than I'm doing here. But I understand. That's a perfect example.
I'm not alone, but I'm lonely. Like, I'm not by myself,
Yeah.
but I'm lonely. Like, I
Yeah.
want my person. I want my other
We
stuff.
talked about that. We went to dinner last night, and he and I was saying, all my friends care about everything that happens on my day, but I know none of them know I'm sitting with you right now, and nobody's going to call me and go, how'd it go? Tell me about Eliza. How was the podcast? But if that person was in my life, like Daniel knows I'm doing this today,
Right.
and he'll ask me, but I want a companion to come home to or to call me and go, so how'd it go? Like, I need that.
You want your person.
Yes.
You want your person.
Yes.
And you've built a whole business helping everybody to look their
Yes.
best so they can find their person.
Yes.
Now it's time for you
Even
to find
when
your
they
person.
pass, they ask me to do their makeup. I've been asked to do their makeup when they pass.
Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, but a couple of my clients had called me back in the day and said, my mother loved you. She only wore your makeup. Can you please consider doing her makeup? And I said, Now you're going a little too far.
Not really our custom.
No. Oh, Lisa.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is. And it's, so I guess I want to focus just on later stage dating. Now, like, career is with you and behind you simultaneously, right?
Exactly.
You have your son. He's doing what he's doing, but you're not having to be there by his side as much. He's holding his own. And now you fully have things open. If you had a vision out, I don't know, the next 5 years, write me a little story of what that looks like if you could write that story.
Working is definitely something I love. Like, you love this, that's my passion. I can't imagine doing anything else. So I love being the face of the Laura Geller brand. I love creating the products. You gave me an idea for one that I am going to town on. Thank you.
Yes.
But it's not paramount anymore, and it's not a necessity, which is lovely to be in that place. So I really want someone who is now going to fit into being my plus one. I get invited to great events like tonight. There's a great event happening in New York City, and I want to be able to take somebody to enjoy those things with me. I want to be able to say, let's talk about maybe going on a vacation, in a couple months.
Where do you want to go?
Oh, there's so many places I haven't been.
Really?
Oh my gosh. I just started traveling in the last 2 years. I did Spain, and I just came back from a big trip with Daniel to Europe, to Italy, and to the south of France. And so, I am going to the Netherlands in April.
Okay.
But I hope everything is going to be okay.
Poo-poo-poo.
And poo-poo-poo. I'm going on my first river cruise. But I mean, there's so many places I want to go. I want to go to Greece. There's so much in Italy I haven't seen. I want to go back to Israel. I've only been
you're
to
coming to
Israel
visit me.
once. I mean, can you imagine?
I'm going to meet you in Jerusalem.
Oh my gosh.
Meet you at the hotel.
Do you know how much I loved my trip? I can't get back there soon enough. Love. I understand why you moved there.
There's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. We live in very unusual times, and I've learned very much how to be Israeli, where they are living in the moment. Some people are like, "What's the weather today?" And my kids are like, "Are there rockets or should we go to school?" It's just a very unique situation, but there's
the strongest people in the world.
The strongest. I mean, I know why they call them sabras, right? They're
Yeah.
tough on the outside, but sweet and soft as sugar on the inside.
Yep.
Everybody, you need something, they will be there for you in a minute.
I know.
Everybody is like family, even though we only have cousins there. We don't have very close family there, but everybody feels like family. And it is just one of the most beloved place on earth.
I know. That's all of those places are on my list.
Okay. So we've got travel with a companion.
Yeah, and just
Experiencing life, activities, the
And-
hustle and bustle of New York City.
Yeah, I mean, I could do without that. I hate the city.
You want to move out?
No, I'm not ready to move out.
Or have a house here and...
Yeah, and I like being out in the Hamptons.
Okay.
Yeah, I like having a house out there. I want to have like gathering. I love entertaining.
Okay.
So I love having people over. I do it in the city all the time, but I can't. I'm on the fence about, do I want to own a house somewhere else?
You can also just rent one.
I do that.
Yeah,
I've been
you can
doing
just
that
rent
for
one
years.
if you don't feel like owning it.
Then
you
I
can
don't
just
have
rent
the
one.
headache when
Nothing.
the water heater.
That's done. It's not your
breaks. Not my
problem.
problem. But so yeah, doing that. I mean, just watching Netflix and the Jewish matchmaker together, cozied up on a couch. So yeah, just all the little things that I have. I have a list, a to-do list on my phone. I always write
love it.
things down that I see on Instagram, things to do, places to go, and I'll write it down. And so and then I want to do what they want to do.
Right.
Yeah,
Find out
because
what they
they're
wanna
going to
do.
open my eyes to things I would have never thought of.
So what I see, this 5-year vision, I see travel.
Yeah.
I see companionship. I see dinner parties and events where you guys are the hosts and bringing people together for whatever the causes or the meaningful things are that you want to do. Daniel, and God willing, his wedding, which, one day will be a reality, and building family. I'm going to assume at some point grandchildren will come into the picture. And
Can't
you'll be
happen
loving.
soon enough.
No pressure,
No
Danielle.
pressure.
I love you.
Yeah.
And to be grandparents, and then to find out what their passions are and build that and bring that together and bring their family into the picture as well.
Yes. Well,
I see it.
I did a
see
good
that
job
vision.
with my son, so I think I'll do a good job with my grandkids.
Amen.
Amen.
I think so too.
Amen. Yeah.
I could talk to you forever.
I know.
I adore you.
adore you
I
too.
appreciate everything that you've done for this world and kind of making it glow and light up and bringing out everybody's
Aw,
beauty.
that's so sweet.
I
Thank
really,
you.
really appreciate it.
It's my joy.
And same way that I have my passion, you have yours, and it comes through so
Thank you.
so clearly.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
And sending a blessing, please God, that this year will be the year that you find a human that you love, that loves you back, that you can build a beautiful life together.
God willing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
On those words, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, welcome, welcome.